I'm very much about that trend, so I'm delighted that it is popular. Well, hello there and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Ciara and I share videos on shopping for the best basics on the high street, how to build a capsule wardrobe and lots of other good stuff. So if that sounds good to you, then do hit subscribe because I would love to have you back for more videos. So in today's video, we are going to be styling some of the biggest fashion trends for spring summer. We've been covering everything from the Western trend to elevated boho. We've also been looking at the 80s maximalism trend and of course the coastal grandpa trend as well. So I thought in today's video I would actually put together some fun looks touching on these trends and kind of having fun with styling some of these different trends. First off, we're going to look at the Western trend, and this is something that you can definitely dive headfirst into if you want, and you can go head to toe cowboy, but I would probably recommend just adding touches of it here or there. A lot of these trends, some of them can tend to blend in together, so if you're clever about the pieces that you're picking up, you can find pieces that actually work for lots of different trends. It's really all about how you style them. And as I always say, it's about working with your own personal style rather than overhauling your wardrobe because a new trend has come into fashion. It's really important to look at what your personal style is, what your needs are, and just incorporating small pieces here and there. An easy way to incorporate the Western trend is with a waistcoat. It is something that I love to wear anyway, and it's great in spring summer. It's a really handy layer. And this one here I picked up is from Urban Revivo. All of the clothing in this video is from Urban Revivo, and they are a gorgeous brand that do everything from workwear to occasion wear to everyday basics, and their style is very cool. What I really like about this brand, and you're going to see in the video, is that they do an elevated basic very well. A lot of their pieces are kind of like a basic with a slight twist, which I really like because it adds that fun bit of interest to our wardrobe. And as someone who really has built a good foundation of basics in their wardrobe, I am thankfully at the stage where I can have a little bit more fun with adding some personality pieces into it as well. If you are struggling with the basics of your wardrobe, I will link some resources in the description below of how to reset your style, how to build a capsule wardrobe. I am all about that. In today's video, we are having a little bit more fun. This tan waistcoat is a very easy way to touch on the Western trend. You can see here I've styled it with this simple skirt with the lace detail on the trim, and actually this skirt is a really good basic in itself. I tend to live in this style around spring summertime. That little trim at the end that I feel like gives a little bit more of a Western, a little bit more bohemian nod to your outfits. It works really well with the waistcoat, but also you're going to see how I've styled this skirt in lots of other ways in this video. I think it's probably one of the most versatile pieces in this roundup. I've just paired it with a classic white t-shirt, a pair of simple loafers, and a fun pair of sunglasses. I actually think the color of the waistcoat kind of slightly matching the sunglasses is very satisfying. And again, it's a very easy, comfortable look, but it definitely hits on the Western trend. It would work for springtime, but also coming into the summer season as well. Okay, so next up for the Western trend, let's do something completely different. I'm going to show you this fringed Aztec cardigan. I love this piece. Not only is it super comfortable and cozy, and often when we think of Western pieces, you think of really high summer light pieces, but actually this is a way of doing this trend all year round. For me, I'm very much still living in my knitwear right now. It is not that warm just yet, and I love this wrap cardigan. I think it's really cool. I think it's really different. I have nothing like it in my wardrobe. I also love how you can wear it open. You can easily cinch it with the belt that comes with it. And it's such an easy piece that kind of does all of the talking in your outfit. So you can style it with just very simple pieces. Again, I've gone for a simple black skirt, simple white t-shirt, pair of sunglasses, but I will say these boots, I absolutely love these boots, and I would argue that these boots are a little bit of a Western nod. I would say that this is a boot that's quite Western, but it's much more chic and grown up. These really remind me of the Givenchy boots. I'm going to pop a picture of them here. They are so cool. I wore these boots for a night out with some girlfriends last week when we went out for cocktails, just with like a simple black dress, and the boots did all the talking. I think they're so cool. The last look I would class as Western, but actually it's quite bohemian as well, is pairing the wrap Aztec cardigan with the white trim skirt. And this is very much, I think, moving into the bohemian trend, which I'm going to talk about next. It is Western, but it feels very laid back. It feels very Chloe. It's very Isabel Marant style. These kind of outfits where you have looser on the top and looser on the bottom, I know are not necessarily for everybody, but if you actually use the belt in the cardigan and you cinch it in, I do feel like it still gives you shape. And again, I feel like it's a very fun way of doing this trend. If you're someone who really likes Western and kind of laid back styles, then I think this is something that you're going to absolutely rock. But if you are just dipping your toe into this, it might be too much kind of Western vibes for you. So next up, we're going to talk about the elevated boho trend. And this is probably, I would say, my favorite spring summer trend so far. It is just a very, very fun one to style. And it's nothing terribly new. We have seen boho floating around, you know, year on year. It, in some way, shape or form, is there for spring summer, but it is back in a massive way this season. Definitely propelled forward by the likes of Chloe. Their shows are just so boho in their DNA, and I just love how they style things. It's incredible. So this beautiful ruffle shirt is the perfect example of finding one key piece that you can use for a trend like this. There are definitely multiple ways that you could style this shirt. I have put it with a very, very simple skirt just to let the shirt do the talking. I really think it's so elevated. I love the detail on the sleeves. It's just so cool. I also really like the color. I find that often when we think of boho, we think of sorbet colors, muted colors, like lots of kind of girly creams and pinks and blues. But I really love doing this trend in deeper, more neutral colors that I would wear anyway. And I feel like this brown color just works so, so well. There are also a few different ways that you can style this blouse, which I love. You can first of all take the bow detail at the neck. You can have it as a classic bow. You can wrap it around the neck and have it kind of hanging down. You can just do a classic knot and then have the two pieces coming down. And then you can also add belts to this shirt. It's going to belt really, really well because of the volume. You're going to cinch it in nicely and then have all that billowing volume if you just play with it a little bit, whether it's a skinny belt, a chunky belt. You can do layered belts, which is also another big trend I spoke about for accessories for spring summer. I also think this blouse would look beautiful with a pair of denim jeans, even like a more kind of relaxed mid-rise kind of baggier fit, and this beautiful blouse. I think it's giving very much Chloe, Isabel Marant vibes. I just love it. So next up, we're going to briefly touch on the suede trend, and it is no surprise that suede is the biggest fabric for 2025. We've seen it all over the high street, and it is honestly a very, very easy one to style. I have absolutely loved finding some really cool pieces to add into my wardrobe, whether there be accessories or jackets. And I do say this, that while I will go for real suede in my accessories, for my jackets and coats, I've been getting faux suede. It is just so much more cost effective because when you think about that much fabric, having it in a real suede is not only very expensive, but it's very hard to maintain. I use suede protector on all of my suede fabrics, but obviously a coat or a jacket is going to be a bit more complicated. This button-up jacket I think is such a good find. I am definitely still wearing my jackets at this time of year. It is not warm enough to go without them just yet, and I think this is the perfect piece that you can wear now, but you can also wear into summer. This would be perfect even if you were dressing for like a festival or something and you wanted like a cool girl kind of jacket that touched on that Western bohemian trend. I think suede works in both of those trends really, really well. We've seen suede featured in trend reports for both the bohemian trend and also the Western trend as well, but it's also kind of in its own category. So I think if you haven't already found your perfect faux suede jacket, I think this one is a great option. It's a really, really good price. Really, really comfortable. I've paired it here with just a classic black skirt, a white t-shirt, again, those boots that I absolutely love. And you'll also see I'm wearing it with this gorgeous brown bag. And I'm gonna quickly touch on this bag because this is an example of the bowling bag trend. And I know I've spoken about so many different bag trends here on my channel, but the biggest bag shapes for 2025 are the east-west bag styles and the bowling bag style. And they're actually quite similar to each other. Obviously east-west just being that bit more elongated, and then the bowling bag being square. It's kind of also called a doctor's bag as well. And we saw this featured heavily on the runways of the likes of Miu Miu and Prada. It's definitely a very desirable style for this year. And again, I picked out this one because I love the shape. I love the drop on the shoulders, but it also comes with its own little keyring detail on it. So it has like its own bag charm. Bag charms are massive for 2025. I really wanted to try and hit so many trend boxes for you guys in these videos and show you how often styling these trends is actually not as complicated or as scary as it might seem. So again, something like this jacket and this bag, again in those neutral shades, ticking a few different trend boxes, but actually really just being classic, easy to wear pieces in themselves. So next up, we're going to look at 80s maximalism. And again, this is a trend that I've touched on before in many of my trend videos, and it's things like a power padded shoulder, a very sculpted silhouette, your nipped in blazers, your strong structured shoulders. Think of your classic like 80s business women outfits, you know, like music videos from back in the 80s. We're looking at like sharp, strong lines, fitted waists, tailored trousers, high waist, cinched waist, big billowing trousers, very strong, clean lines. These trousers I think are so interesting. They are the perfect way to work this trend into your wardrobe. Also, they're just an elevated basic in themselves. You probably know that I love a tailored trouser. It's one of my favorite things to wear. And I often like finding pieces that have that slight twist to them, and these are a pair that I have nothing like it in my wardrobe. They have this open detail, so it's really, really interesting. It kind of gives this baggy, loose silhouette, but it's also very sharp and clean at the same time. I just think they're so interesting, and the fit is perfect. They're super, super comfortable. So I've styled them on their own just with a classic button waistcoat. Again, waistcoats and that kind of fitted waistcoat style definitely leans into 80s minimalism. It's that kind of almost workwear, tailored, power business inspired look. Also style them with this open blazer. The pad on the shoulders is so cool. It's that really nice bit of structure that really dresses up any outfit. So in this video, I've put it together with these trousers just to have maximum impact. Again, I feel like this is a really interesting suit. It's got something different to it than what I see on the high street all the time. But you could easily take the sleeveless blazer and wear it with jeans. You could pair it with a skirt. It can easily be used to add structure and a little bit of like smartness to a pair of denim jeans. I think it's so cool. Wear it without anything underneath to make it a little bit dressier, but then you can also pair it with a classic t-shirt for a more dressed down look, and it just shows you that it can definitely work for a dressier occasion and an evening out or date night or an event, but then it also works for kind of a smart day-to-day look as well. And it goes without saying, both of these pieces would be amazing for your workwear wardrobe. So if you're feeling like your workwear selection needs a little bit of something, if you want to spice it up a little bit, I think these pieces will be great. And then lastly, for 80s maximalism, I'm going to show you this tailored shirt. And again, this was something that I was on the hunt for. I wanted a real fitted shirt. It's such a fun piece to style. I particularly like wearing it a little bit more dressed up, but I feel like the fit of this one, it's very much in that peplum style, and peplum styles is part of the 80s maximalism trend. Those kind of stronger silhouettes that I mentioned before, peplum really falls into that. And again, it's showing you how you can do these stronger shapes but still in a basic like a shirt that isn't actually that scary. I love how this looks with a black skirt. I think it makes something that's typically, you know, worn to the office very much a night out look. I think it looks really, really cool, especially with the boots. The boots themselves have that kind of strange shape that I feel like could mean that they fit into the 80s maximalist trend. They're probably a bit more of a maximalist pair of boots, but again, I think this outfit is so cool. Finally, moving away from 80s maximalism, let's look at the coastal grandpa trend. And this trend is really all about laid back. It's coastal, it's organic, it's a lot of stripes, a lot of wool, a lot of cardigans. It's things that are maybe borrowed from your grandpa. So think of like heavy wool jumpers, you know, like that kind of like striped, almost like boxer short. And I felt like this t-shirt, which I'm wearing here, would be so perfect for that trend. This is something that I feel like hits those style notes, even the colors that it's using, but also the stripes. But I decided to pair it with the white skirt that I showed you previously, because it's an easy way to show how you can take nods of this trend and then style it with other pieces. It also shows how the skirt is just so versatile in itself. But again, I think how you style these pieces, this striped shirt with the skirt, you could also pair it with a pair of shorts. You could easily style it with a pair of baggy denim jeans as well. I think the coastal grandpa trend is all about a bit of nonchalance, a little bit of laid back coastal vibes, which as someone who lives by the coast in the summer, I definitely serve coastal grandpa a lot of the time when I'm going for swims or walking the dog or going to the beach here. I'm very much about that trend, so I'm delighted that it is popular. There you have it, guys. That was a look at some of my favorite trends for spring summer 2025 and how you can easily style them. As I mentioned, I will leave everything linked in the description below, along with all of the sizing that I took. Everything is from Urban Revivo, and I will also leave my discount code here on screen and in the description code as well, so you can check it out. Do let me know in the comments which outfit was your favorite, and if you liked seeing me kind of tackle the trends and styling them in this way, then do give me a thumbs up to let me know, and I will do more of these videos for you. If you have not already, then be sure to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every single week, and I would love to have you back for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.